What's going on, everyone? So this week I was getting ready for Shadowbringers and I noticed that there's a ton of green leaves in the game. That got me thinking that maybe some people aren't sure what to expect with the expansion coming, and maybe some people are even worried about what's going to happen. So I figured I'd go over some of those things and put your minds at ease. By the time this video is posted, we'll be 7 days from the official release. So don't go answering any weird phone calls or watching old VHS tapes or anything like that.
Someone knows you've watched it. And what they say is, you will die in 7 days.
A lot of stuff happens between now and then, so I just kind of want to go over some of those things and talk about what's going to happen when that game actually launches. Even before the actual release on the 2nd, we have what's called the pre-release, which will be Friday the 28th. It actually happens at 2 a.m. that day, so Thursday night, depending on how you look at it. So on Thursday, the first thing you'll probably notice is you're going to wake up with a flutter in your chest. No, that's not a heart attack. We call that hype. Usually a couple hours after the servers go down, the official patch notes drop so we can actually take a look at some of the changes that the expansion is going to bring. I would recommend going and looking at those so you can find out if that healer you were planning on playing is actually dead on arrival. Along with that, a lot of content creators in the community will be releasing some of their hype videos or their plans for when the game goes live, or probably even streaming some other games. So I would definitely check out your favorite Final Fantasy creators and go look at some of their stuff during the day. Another thing to look out for is to make sure your client is updated. Every couple of hours, they'll release a wave of data that is actually part of the official update, so make sure to take a look at that. If you take anything away from this video, please go patch your client. Make sure you're checking it. You don't want to be there right when the game launches and have an hour-and-a-half update while everybody else is ready and already leagues ahead of you in the expansion. When the game finally launches, for the first few days, maybe a week, expect a fairly long queue time. This is because there's so many people logging in at the same time. It just takes a little bit longer to get into the worlds. Some of the more populated servers are going to be even worse. Fun fact, on some of the servers, you can actually close the queue time login window and then re-log in immediately, and it'll bump you to the top of the queue. That doesn't always work on X-Pack drops though, so you could try that, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work. For the most part, Final Fantasy XIV's expansions have been pretty stable. Be prepared for some disconnects, but it's usually not too bad. They do a great job of splitting the different areas into instances, and this helps a ton. And you are able to switch between these instances if needed. This becomes really important for hunting. So if a hunt spawns in instance 1, let's say, it might not be in instance 3. So you need to make sure that you're in the right area as well as the right instance in order to get the hunt. Also this time around, they've set it up to where parties are able to travel between instances together. So you're not going to travel into an area, get split up from your party, and have to switch instances to get back into the same area with them.
Let's split up.
No, our friends need us.
One thing I wanted to address is some of the stories that you might have heard about the worst parts of the expansion. With Stormblood, we had Raubon EX. So for those of you that don't know, Raubon EX was an issue at the launch of Stormblood. Of course, the game was packed with people, and it was also getting DDoSed at the same time, so some of the instance servers broke. People were not able to get past an instance story mission and were stuck. And this was pretty early on, actually, within the first hour or so. My suggestion, if this were to happen again, is to have a backup plan of some sort. Have something on the side that you're ready to level. Go gather, go craft, do something while you're waiting for this time. In theory, we shouldn't have this issue this time around. They've set up a queue for personal instances in case this kind of situation happens again. It's likely going to be much like waiting for a dungeon queue. The rest of the weekend should be business as usual, except more fun, because everything is new. There might be some maintenance once or twice a day, but it shouldn't be too often. The only time it should really be expected is right before the official launch on the 2nd. Speaking of which, that's when things get a little rocky again. Login queues will become a bit longer, especially if they've calmed down. There might be some more DCs and stuff, but again, the game is pretty stable, so there's not a ton to worry about. The other thing to be aware of is to make sure to put in your official code for your game before the 5th. Even if you've pre-ordered and are playing, you still have to register your code for the full game on the MOG station, not just your pre-order code. If you don't do it before the 5th, you'll be locked out unless you register your game afterwards. This might happen automatically for PS4 users, but I'm not entirely sure. Just to be safe, check your MOG station. Beyond all the technical stuff, expect to take in the wonder. We are going to a place that none of us have ever been. We are all going through new content together. We're going on this amazing adventure for the first time. It's honestly magical, and it's my favorite thing about MMOs. Soak it in, because it's the best time to play this game. It really, really is. On the flip side of this, don't let it overwhelm you. There's going to be new trials and dungeons, and especially if you're new to this game, that can be pretty scary. But just make sure to tell people that you're new. I know that you've probably heard that advice 1,000 times, but just remember that they're probably new too. And even if they're not, it's still an exciting time, so they'll probably be willing to help you out. The last thing I really wanted to touch on is that the devs are listening. They're great about having their ear to the ground and taking in player feedback. So if there's something that works great, or maybe not so great, let them know. They will likely adjust a ton before the normal mode raids come out. That's what the first 2 weeks is really about, since we don't have beta servers. Well everyone, I hope this helps ease any curiosity or worry. Of course, we don't know yet, but based on the last 2 expansions and all the information about Shadowbringers already, this coming up weekend is going to be amazing. I really hope you're excited as I am. Take your time and enjoy this new adventure. Again, this is the best time to play this game, and I really hope that's the same for you. And if you guys enjoyed this video at all or found it helpful, I would appreciate it if you gave me a like. It helps other people find it too. You know how it goes. And let me know what you're most excited about in Shadowbringers down in the comments. Take care guys, and I'll see you on the 1st.